Hey everyone, this is David. Welcome back behind the velvet rope. We got a lot to cover today. We are joined back by the sisters or with the sisters from the Pop Apologists Podcast.
Hello, David. I have to know, are your Patreon people like, get these bitches off our Patreon?
No, I mean, let me just tell you that people just love, I think, when I break it all down with you guys. I mean, amazing. I've said it before, I've said it again. I'm into the analytics. I look at every number and we have icons that are Fran Drescher, Susan Lucci. We just had Gabrielle Carteris from 90210, one of the best TV shows to ever exist in the history of TV. People care, but they don't care as much as hearing us break down all these shows. So there you go. So no, nobody is sick of you guys. They actually, amazing. I think that I could just tell everyone and these guests to fuck off and we could just like chit chat all day. And the people that are listening right now would be more thrilled with that type of chat, believe it or not. So
that's fantastic.
So I'm thrilled you guys are back. Okay, here's the deal. I know we're going to go fast. We are going to cover everything. We have Jen Shah and the Housewife and the Shah Shocker. We have Ultimate Girls Trip and we have the OC. Where out of those three would you like to start?
I would love to start with OC. Chan, have you watched it?
I have not watched OC, so that actually is where I personally would not start there.
Well, we can do the OC quickly.
Okay, that's perfect.
Because we have watched it and Miss Dubrow has made an appearance.
Oh, she has. You guys, I feel like so vindicated in my suspicions of the Dubrows after watching this episode. I am so excited to chat about it with you. Okay, so since Chandler hasn't watched, I'll just do a little bit of a recap.
Perfect.
Yeah.
But they get a lot into Heather Dubrow's wealth in terms of like, they show the house in all of its, in all of its glory. Like the staff is in uniform. There's a private chef. There's a towel warming drawer, which like isn't that extreme, but there's, obviously her closet filled to the brim with designer goodies. It's just so extreme. And I think what's so interesting about it is the end of the episode kind of centers on what's coming next episode, which is this blow up feud between the new cast member, Nicole.
Okay.
And well, it's basically about Nicole. And essentially the fact that she is suing Terry Dubrow. She has sued Terry Dubrow in the past or is suing him, which is very strange because Heather doesn't seem to know this. But over a bad boob job, allegedly.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow.
Well,
I need to watch this.
Well, okay. First of all, one question, because you've talked about it here before. I know. So, like, what was your suspicion? Just like that the Dubrows have fake money? Because you've brought it up here before. Like, I forgot what your stance was.
My stance was that their money doesn't make sense, right? Like Terry Dubrow's a plastic surgeon and they've sold some stuff in QVC. Heather Dubrow's a podcast. Like by all accounts, they're very successful, but they're not rock star successful.
Right.
They're not like private jet, private like chef, everything, huge mansion, building another mansion in Idaho. Like the money didn't add up.
They seem to have like oil tycoon money versus looking at someone like Tamra who like lives in like a tract home in like a nice gated community. Like they have like an absurd amount of money compared to some of the other OC housewives.
They do, yes. And
like
you don't think that like, because this is what you said the last time. You don't think it makes sense, like what a surgeon can't get that much money?
Correct. I don't think that it's a lifestyle that you can honestly, even unless you're like a mega star or like an NBA basketball player, unless you're LeBron James, like I don't think you're working and making that kind of money. And that suspicion, which a lot of people like just took it for granted that all of this money came from Botched and Terry Dubrow's boob jobs. That suspicion was completely confirmed and vindicated in the book Not All Diamonds in Rose that came out. So this is a nugget that came out from Not All Diamonds in Rose that basically no one has like blasted, and I'm very confused as to how this has not gone like more viral. But it's revealed in Not All Diamonds in Rose that Kelly Dodd's realtor or friend was Heather Dubrow's realtor. And when you're a realtor, someone's realtor, like you kind of know more about the intimate details of that person's finances. And what that realtor revealed to Kelly Dodd was that most of the money that the Dubrows have is actually inherited from Terry's father and brother, who was a rock star. And that's what they don't want leaked out. And that's why there's all these like cease and desists, because they don't want that, I guess, to be widely known.
Well, okay, so I mean, his brother was definitely in Quiet Riot, like a big, like, come on, feel the noise. I didn't realize an 80s rocker, like of that level, could make that much money. Like, sure, Ozzy Osbourne, fucking loaded. Like, he's huge. Yeah. You know, like then you go into like softer rock, like Bon Jovi, fucking loaded. I didn't think Quiet Riot being a member gave you that much money.
I don't even know a Quiet Riot song. I barely heard of Quiet Riot.
Come on, feel the noise. If you've heard it.
I'll recognize it. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. So I don't know that it's just that inheritance, but it's also from Terry's father. Like apparently that money plays a significant role into their current lifestyle, which is something they don't really want broadcast.
Got it. Are we sure though that none of this money is coming from Malibu country? Heather didn't get a huge payout from her time on that show.
I'm sure. I'm sure of that. So, but what did Terry's father have? Look, I mean, it can't be from the Swan, because I mean, like us, well, from the 80s rockers and all of that, it's kind of like if you weren't the A-list, like the money's different now. Do you know what I mean? Like there's no Taylor Swift money back then. It's like the money's just changed. Like same with TV. So it can't be a ton from that. And as was Terry's father and I mean, the Swan was like the best fucking TV show that's ever existed in the history of TV. But I mean, that wasn't like, when Terry and Heather were here, I brought it up to Terry and he was like, oh my God, I can't believe you even want to talk about the Swan. But that, right? Like that can't be tons of money. I just thought it was from being a surgeon. You just, it doesn't add up for you.
I mean, not only does it not add up, but Kelly Dodd talks about it in the book, Not All Diamonds in Rose, like their money doesn't add up. You know, I'm not the first person to have voiced this. And she confirms that, a lot of it comes from an inheritance, and it's probably an inheritance that was invested well. Right. I'm sure it's combined with the money that they make. So it's not like Terry's efforts go for nothing. Like he is on Botched, he is a successful surgeon, but that's not the reason why they live the lifestyle that they do.
Lauren, can I ask you a question circling back to the lawsuit? Haven't you heard something about Terry not being like a perfect surgeon? Like, okay, obviously he's talented, but I don't think that he does like he's like a one-stop shop surgeon, right? Like he does everything, right?
So I don't know about that. I don't know if he's a one-stop shop surgeon, but I can tell you that living in Orange County, you definitely hear from people who've been to him, or you hear of people who have gone to him allegedly, and that they've allegedly been very unhappy. And it only takes a quick Google search of Yelp reviews to determine that there are many unhappy alleged patients of allegedly.
Oh my God. Well,
I'm actually terrified.
No, I mean, listen, I do have a very controversial OC housewife coming up that does bring up Terry's surgery. But putting this lovely woman aside, I mean, I had everyone says, who's your favorite, blah, 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 blah. I'll always go back to one of my favorite interviews that I've ever done is Miss Janice Dickinson, icon in the making, first supermodel ever. And she was on Botched. I mean, she was on the TV show. And, she on the air on the Behind the Velvet Rope podcast didn't exactly have such great things to say. I mean, Janice doesn't hold back.
Really?
She said like Kendall and Kylie, you know, are nepotism. And I mean, it's all viral. Tyra's this. And Janice just says it how it is. She's like, I mean, fucking she basically said he botched my shit. And I mean, fucking like, but I'm not saying this, Janice said it. So, but then there is another OC housewife who's like, Terry's booked forever because, you know, of TV shows and locally, none of us go to him. I'm not saying that. I have nothing against Heather and Terry at all. And I am in awe of how Heather looks like. Heather is like LVP. I don't know how she's like in that class, like the Carolyn Stanberry of like, girl, I am jealous. Like, how do you do it? Like Heather should just quit all this and just teach etiquette courses and style and dress. She's always so together.
I am with you, which is why when I speak these ill words,
you're jealous.
I hate myself because I love Heather Dubrow so much. I got my core. I want to like, I want her in my life, maybe as like, you know, a co-mother with my mother, or just some sort of matriarch, someone I can go to, you know, kneel at her feet, hear her wisdom. Like I honestly worship Heather Dubrow like a god.